Let's look at one more example for a rational inequality. This time we just have the inequality. We don't already have a graph drawn for us. So we're going to have to sketch in the graph first before we can go through our process. What we're looking for here, as far as drawing our graph, is the locations of x-intercepts, vertical asymptotes, and holes if there are any. So remember, to find our x-intercepts, we're looking for what makes the numerator equal to 0. I'm just going to take the numerator we have and set that equal to 0 and solve for x. I can divide both sides by 2. 0 divided by 2 is still 0. So this is one x-intercept at x equals 0. That even gives us a point we can plot on the graph. That's right there at the origin. Then for my vertical asymptotes, I'm looking for what makes the denominator equal to 0. I can take that denominator and set it equal to 0 and solve for x. This is going to give me x equals 4. That's where my one vertical asymptote is. Since these values don't match at all, that means I don't have any holes in the graph. So I do want to put my vertical asymptote in at x equals 4. Now I'm going to graph my function with my graphing calculator. I'm really interested in where my points are above the x-axis and where they're below. Notice when I put this in, I put parentheses around the 4 minus x because my denominator has two different terms. If I don't put the parentheses in there, my calculator won't graph this correctly. There's my graph, and I'm going to use it to just fill this in. Again, I'm not trying to be super accurate with this. I just want to know whether my points are under the x-axis or above it. As I come this way towards the vertical asymptote, my points are going up. And then on this side of the vertical asymptote, my points are going down towards negative infinity. And then over here, just like some, looks like it's going up and out. Now this was the only x-intercept we found. That means that on this end, this is going to stay underneath the x-axis. Now that I have that, I can split up my graph into sections. I already have my vertical asymptote drawn in here with the dotted line. I'm also going to draw a dotted line through my x-intercept at x equals 0. This splits my graph up into 3 sections. This section would go from negative infinity to 0. This one would go from 0 to 4. And this one would go from 4 to infinity. In this section, all the points are below the x-axis. In this one, they're above the x-axis. And in this one, they're below it. Now, if I go back and look at the inequality I'm trying to solve, since this is a greater than 0, that means I'm looking for points above the x-axis. Since there's no equal sign in this one, I don't need to worry about my x-intercepts. I'm just picking out the intervals here where it's above the x-axis, and that's only this one. That means my solution is just the interval from 0 to 4.